All right. And I am today tuning in from the unceded lands of the Wurundjeri people on the Kulin Nation in Melbourne. And I would like to acknowledge and pay my respects to their elders, past and present. So let me share my screen. Can everyone see that now? Perfect, thank you. All right. So if you've had sort of a look at the communications and materials about the award, this year we have decided to only have one award compared to if you knew about last year's awards, we had 6 different awards. So this year we really narrowed it into one, and we've decided to call it the Outstanding Intergenerational Innovation and Contribution Award. So I think with this one award, as we know, there can be a lot of variety and diversity between intergenerational programs. And so we wanted to tell you what the purpose of this award is and what we're really seeking to sort of recognize and acknowledge. And that is, as it's titled, the outstanding sort of innovation and contribution to the field. And the other thing is that we want to highlight what an intergenerational program is according to, if you see the new AIIP prospectus, sort of the standards of what an intergenerational program is. So this award really seeks to recognize contributions and innovations aligned with the mission and the purpose of the AIIP. So as you can see here, it is to support and advocate for evidence-based programs that foster mutually beneficial connections between generations, and for the practice that advocates for intergenerational practice to help cultivate more inclusive and cohesive communities and offer a powerful model for positive social impact. Some of what that means is also that the programs are collaboratively planned, they might use educational frameworks, and they are supervised by trained caregivers or educators. So as you can get a sense of it, it's really starting to move towards sort of a certain standard of intergenerational programs and practice that we are trying to cultivate within the community. So in terms of eligibility criteria, so who can apply and who can be nominated and submit an application, we are looking for an intergenerational program that is firstly structured, and what that means is that it is planned formally and delivered, that it is purposefully designed to provide mutual benefits, might be similar or different benefits to both older and younger generations, and that is accounted for in the planning and the delivery of the program. The third point is that it should be research-based, and for an example of that is that it is based on educational frameworks. For example, if you're in the early years, there's the early years framework. It might be based on the literature that is published out there. Might be toolkits that are published within Australia or internationally. It might be academic research articles that inform the planning and structuring of your program. We are also hoping that your program is evaluated, and that's something, it's that we're trying to start to implement into the practice of intergenerational practice. We said that at least it is self-evaluated. We recognize that not everyone is going to have the resources and ability to have a research project, for example. So what a self-evaluated program might mean is just that you have staff or facilitators that are collecting some data on the implementation or the outcomes of the program. And that might be, it might look different for different programs. Your program should be current and ongoing, so not one that is once off or in the past, and should be located within Australia as well. Also, the applicants need to be an AIIP member. I am guessing if you are in here, you might be one, but if you're not sure of your membership status or anything like that, feel free to write in to this email address. I'll just put it there. Check if you need to check on your membership status. What we'll also do is if we receive a submission that from someone who is not a member, we'll definitely let you know and give you the opportunity to become a member. Previous nominees and awardees can also be nominated and apply again, so that is no problem. And as I'm going through this, if there's any questions that you might have, please feel free to pop it in the chat or sing out and we can answer that. So there are basically two sort of options. So you might be firstly someone who wants to nominate another program. If you are, someone in the community and you've seen a program that you think should be nominated and put in a submission, what you can do is complete a nomination form. And that is this one. I'll just put it in the chat. What happens then is we will send your nominee a email of congratulations and instructions for next steps. If you are someone who wants to self-nominate and put in a submission for yourself, that is wonderful as well. What you can do then is to complete the online application form. And that is this one. Oops. That's basically what your nominee will get. What happens then is your applications will be submitted and scored by a judging panel. The finalists will be notified before Christmas of this year, and the winner will be announced at the conference next year, which is from the 21st to 22nd February in Sydney. So I thought what I might just quickly do is share with you what the forms look like, so you have an idea of what are necessary or what bits of information you might need. If you are wanting to nominate somebody, you just put in your contact details and then details about your nominee, why you want to nominate them. You don't have to, put in a whole essay. A short little paragraph is perfectly fine. And then that's it. If you are wanting to put in your submission, and this will be the one that, has a bit more detail, you put in your contact details, the information about your program, organization, contact number. Again, like I said, with the membership status, if you're not sure, feel free to put don't know or let us know and we can check on that. And then the big bulk of it would be the judging criteria, and I'll go through this in detail in just a second. But basically, we want to go through these bits and just check that you're eligible to apply. We'd love for you to tell us about your program, just a short brief and overview, and that's something that we reflected on from last year, as we didn't really have an overview of the program, and we thought it would be important for you to give us a flavor and sense of it, apart from the judging criteria. And then, quite importantly, with the judging criteria, we ask that you provide a response in no more than 400 words for each of the criteria. And there are 5, which I will go through. And they should be based on the work done in the last 12 months. So we're really looking for the sort of contribution, innovation of your intergenerational program in the last year. So here there is a text box, but if you prefer, you can work on a Word document and send that in to us as well. We will also ask if you want to put in, any attachments. So you can provide up to 5 attachments, and these are additional supporting material, which I'll touch on in just a second. But basically, this is what the form looks like. And yeah, let me go back to my slides. Are there any questions at this point? Or if Mark and Christy, if there's anything you want to add, feel free to chime in. Trish, yes.
I just have a question about collaborators. So if we've collaborated with somebody, do they have to be members as well?
Ooh, thank you so much for bringing that up. So the criteria for membership is we just require at minimum one person of the program. So it might be the organizer yourself from either organization to be a member. So it doesn't have to sort of be, and it doesn't have to be like at the level of organization membership. If at least one individual is a member, that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the question.
If anybody wants any information on becoming a member of the AIIP and the benefits and features that you would be able to access, just shoot me an email at that admin address that Leisha put up there a little while ago, admin@aiip.net.au. Just let me know. And if you're not sure whether you're a member or you don't know when your membership runs out, please just jump in and ask me as well.
Perfect. Thanks, Vicky. All right, so now I just wanted to go through the judging criteria. There is a PDF if you wanted to download this for your reference, but oh, not this. Okay. Ooh. Oh. Is it dancing around for you like it is me?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It's gonna stop. Sorry. Let's try that again. Okay, we've been here. So, the 5 judging criteria. And as we said, in your submissions, you would put in up to 400 words per criteria and base it on the last 12 months of work. So the first one is program design and implementation. Some of the prompts for that would be for you to comment on how your program was designed, sort of the process of structuring and designing elements of your program, what sort of research or frameworks it might have been based on, and how were your stakeholders involved. What then are the program's goals and objectives, and how do they align with the principles of intergenerational practice and sort of the mission and vision of the AIIP and more broadly intergenerational practice, and how feasible implementation has been. The second criteria is program impacts and outcomes, which is a little bit more straightforward, I suppose. So what sort of impacts, outcomes, or even the implementation process, how or what has of the process or what outcomes have you evaluated? How have you evaluated them? It might be using different tools. And what have some of the results that you evaluated been in the last 12 months? The third criteria is innovation and creativity. This is really, I think, what will set your program aside and make your submission stand out, is what makes the program unique and different. And as the award title states, we're really looking for that innovation and contribution. So how innovative and creative has the program been in addressing intergenerational needs? How has that how is that reflected in the activities, the structure of the program, and really the utilization of resources as well? I think that's something in intergenerational programs, as some resourcing is something that we always talk about. So, how has your program sort of been creative or innovative in the way that you tap into different resources and been resourceful, efficient, or effective? The fourth criteria is sustainability and scalability. This is something I know, a lot of us strive for in this field. So what are the program's plans, at least, for long-term sustainability and ongoing engagement, and how you've planned for that? Is there potential for future growth and expansion? And what are some of the collaborations and partnerships that make the above possible? So as we know, there's a lot of collaboration that is in the nature of intergenerational programs between different sectors, organizations. You might talk about that, and also, yeah, ongoing plans. And lastly, your contributions to the field. This one is a little bit more broad, but really we want to see how the program has contributed to the mission of connecting generations. And that might be through participating in sharing your practices and your experiences, lessons learned via different platforms. It might be through the AIIP's networks, or the KNICS and Nice to Wise, which might be more of the sharing and publication of research and evaluation. It might be sharing at different conferences, different meetings, even with, local council, different schools, that sort of thing. So yeah, that's the last one. And then, as I mentioned, you can provide up to 5 attachments or additional supporting material that really demonstrate and capture the essence or impact of your program. With a lot of intergenerational programs, we always say you have to see it to believe it, or experience it to feel it, and see the impact. So this is where you can really put in things like photographs, videos, links, articles, anything that you feel will support your application and what you say in your application, and paint that picture for the judges. So some examples here are like a web page that encapsulates the work that you've done, photos and videos. This is from Greg Cronin. The web page is the Embraced Project, and then any sort of articles that show writing or demonstrate your program from a different person's voice or perspective. So you can get creative with this, but again, it's really showcasing work or in the last 12 months, or that's what the judging panel will focus on. So just some additional tips for preparing your application, and there's nothing really groundbreaking about these, but just really addressing the criteria and responding to the prompts quite specifically, because that really will that is the judges' scoring rubric. The judges will score based on each of the criteria from a score of 1 to 10. You can keep your responses concise and to the point. I feel like 400 words can be a lot, or it can be really little. So just working on the phrasing and crafting of your responses for it to encapsulate what you want to communicate. And then in line with that, being selective about the examples or evidence that you use. Again, 400 words can be quite little, and a lot of us who are passionate about our programs have a lot to share. So being creative, selective with that, but also creative with your supporting material. And yeah, like my last point is to take advantage of the additional supporting material. This is the awards task force. So thank you to the team for the progress to date. And if you have any questions, feel free to let us know. Applications and nominations are open now, and they will be closing on the 22nd of November. So you've got a good amount of time, but we know time flies. So feel free to scan that, or actually I'll put the website to all that information in the link in the chat as well. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to send in an email to events@aiip.net.au. But other than that, that's what we sort of wanted to share today. And I think we can open the floor for if anyone has any questions. Casey? Oh, good.
Okay, just wanted to unmute myself. Starting when you get it in, I know when you put a grant application, some of them can read them from when they were submitted in that order. Is that the case for this, or do you just get them and look at them all from the 22nd onwards?
Yeah, we will look at them from the 22nd onwards once the submissions are closed.
Thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from anyone?
Just sorry, it's Trish again. Hi. A question around the 12-month criteria section. So what happens if the event has happened in the last 12 months, but it has happened in previous years as well, or the program? And for the last criteria, if a conference was held before the last 12 months and that's when it was presented, is that allowable, or is it not?
That's a good question.
Sorry, it's a bit,
No,
and I don't want to put you on the spot. So I suppose it's just if it happened, if it hasn't happened in this 12 months, so I suppose we'll just say that we did it when the actual conference was on, and we haven't had an opportunity to do it in the last 12 months because the conference hasn't been on. So we can explain that, I suppose.
yeah, that would be, yeah.
If
Context,
I
put context.
could add to that, I think the 12-month criteria is in recognition that it'll be something that'll be ongoing every year, and so that's why we wanted to provide some currency. So, yes, there's a lot of things would have happened before as a build up, and of course you need to mention all those things. But I think the key, a key would be maybe the implications of something that happened earlier that has still relevance in the last 12 months. And I think that's probably what we were trying to get at, because, there's a lot of programs that have been going on for a long time. But otherwise you can't judge them from year to year, really. So bearing that in mind, Trish, it's certainly mention all the things that have happened over time, and that the forerunners have led to really you being able to maybe expand the program or do something that really hints at something that's contributed, especially in the last year. Does that help?
Yeah, it does. Thank you. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark. Christy?
Hi. Also, Trish, if I can just add to that, what Mark was saying as well. Alicia mentioned the judging criteria number 4 about sustainability and scalability. So because I guess long-term programs, they really do extend upon evaluation and critical reflection of a combination of all the things that we do. So you might find that that those evaluations and critical reflections of those things are what has perhaps led to your program becoming what it is now, and that strengthens that judging criteria number 4 about sustainability and scalability as well.
I was on mute. That makes sense, Christy. Thanks.
Thanks, Christy. Karina?
Yeah, I've got 2 questions. One of them is, does your project, obviously something that we've been working on, has been ongoing for a number of years. It's not yet complete. Is that okay if your project is still like very much a work in progress?
Yep.
Yeah,
definitely. And that is sort of one of the, criteria. Suppose that it is ongoing, even if it's a work in progress, for you to describe what has gone on in the last 12 months and some of the outcomes and impacts and that development of that. So yeah, completely.
Yeah, sure. And then the other question was, for the lucky winner, what do they actually receive?
Great
Sorry,
question.
tricky asking that question.
No, how did I not include that in the slides? I'm sorry. So it's a cash prize for the lucky winner. For the finalists as well, I should say. There will be a little, session at the conference where we want to highlight and recognize and acknowledge the finalists. Numbers to be decided depending on our submissions. But yeah, so you get the winner though gets cash prize, a plaque, certificate, and a certificate. Big kudos from the intergenerational community. I'm thinking there might be communications-wise a sort of article that features the program for the website, on the website, and something that we can share on socials. So yeah. Thank you for your question. Lovely. If there aren't any more questions, we might wrap it up there. Oh, Natural, if we can nominate an intergenerational shared site program, considering the aspects of sustainability are different for them. Absolutely, you can nominate a shared site program. That's a good point about, sustainability looking different for them, but I think that's also what makes it interesting as well, for them to provide from their, angle or from their practice and how that's developed and how it will develop in the future. So yes, you can absolutely nominate that program. Does that answer your question? Great. Thanks, Nichelle. Alrighty. If that is all, thank you all so much for joining this evening. We are looking forward to reading your nominations and your submissions. And yeah, if you have any questions that come up while you're writing it or putting it in, please feel free to write into us and we'll see what we can do as well. So yeah, thank you and have a lovely rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Let's see.
Bye.